2021. Hey, what is he going to do? You weren't ready for that, were you,
I
Nick?
was not. I was not.
You know, we are keeping tabs on Rodgers. We are keeping tabs on him. We're giving you the up to date information where you need, where his plane's going, what waterfalls he's visiting in Hawaii. We're going to make a bunch of speculation around what he's thinking, getting inside the head of Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest minds to ever do it. We're going to be breaking it down for you probably for the next week or two. I mean, I see the lights are still green,
They
Nick.
are, and they
So
will
that
remain
means
green until
he
we
hasn't
know.
reported to OTAs.
Yep.
Yeah, so guys, Monday evening football daily show. We're excited to be back. Yeah, a lot of our show it's going to revolve around Aaron Rodgers. He's the hot topic of the NFL.
For sure.
There's some other hot topics that we're going to get into. We got Julio. It's kind of looking like there's some players that are really, really trying to make a push for Julio. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but DeAndre Hopkins actually said
Mm,
he would restructure his contract to be able to get Julio Jones. So you would
that's
have
nuts.
Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, and AJ Green.
That's
Talk about trying to stop that.
not enough footballs to go around. But if they can figure that piece out, if they're all, if they
Yeah,
can all be simpatico, hell yeah. I mean, you're not stopping that shit. And that's the thing is like
yeah,
even with I mean, the Cardinals already look good, and then
yeah, yeah,
dude, they are just not letting up. Stuff. I mean, would they trade him to an NFC team? I don't know. If I could get enough for him and I'm the Falcons, I would because you're not winning shit anyway. It's not
yeah,
like, oh no, we're gonna have to play him. Like you're not the Packers. It's not like we
yeah,
can't trade Aaron Rodgers in the conference because we'd have to play. Like you're not gonna play him anyway. So if they offer you a bunch of
yeah,
picks, like you want a first rounder, I feel like if Arizona offers it, you should pull the trigger if you're Atlanta.
100%. Now, the only reason you wouldn't pull this if the Patriots offered the same thing, then
Yes. Yep. Yep.
or the Titans, even for that matter. Those two names are consistently been thrown out. We are the insiders, and we're bringing the information straight to you. So that
Yep.
being said, we are not financial advisors, but interesting to see how that Julio dynamic is playing out. But yeah, Julio definitely sayonara Atlanta. I'm out of there,
For
like
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. For
Like
sure.
it's funny to see that, and how that all came out and things like that. Falcons are upset, obviously. I'm sure ESPN's got their own issues that they have to deal with now, and I'm sure Julio Jones, he's probably got a little thing. Do you think that was staged, Nick? That phone call?
It's hard to say, right? It's hard to say.
Hard
Like
to
it
say.
has it's if it wasn't in a weird way, like I have a lot more questions because it's like I don't think like why would you do that to it? Like why would you call him with him like if he actually had no idea Shannon Sharp was calling him like Shannon Sharp seems to be a very smart guy. Like I don't know that
Yes.
he would make that mistake. Like that's just such like a bonehead thing to do. It's hilarious. Like I hope it happens every day. I hope Skip starts calling people like but
Yeah.
I don't it just seems like such like a miscalculation. Like
Yeah,
and it's obviously like not what Fox would want. It's obviously not what
for sure.
the NFL wants. It's probably not what Julio or his agents want. So it does to me, I hope it's people realizing this little bit of like, professional wrestling dynamic to the media, right? Taking a little page from like the
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul type of playbook. Like
Yeah.
that's my hope. My hope is it's like a little like, hey, let's just tell people it's not staged, but I'm gonna call you tomorrow. But like who knows, man? Who knows? It's weird as hell if it wasn't though.
Yeah, and it seems like if it wasn't, that's like you're abusing your relationships with people and be like, "Oh, well, I know the guy. Let me ask him real quick."
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's like, "Damn, yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure everything will shake out for the better. And who knows, maybe that helps the Atlanta Falcons in moving Julio Jones because now you have all 31 other NFL
Right.
teams actively know Julio wants to get out, and then they can make a real push for him.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
if that's the strategy, I don't like hate it, but man, what a wild
yeah,
scenario either way. But hey, once again though, I mean it's like publicity, right? It's like all publicity is good
uh,
publicity. So it's like I
yeah,
mean people are talking about Fox Sports, people are talking about Shannon Sharp, people are talking about Julio Jones. I don't know how any of that is bad necessarily, you know. But I can
Yes.
see why. I can see why if that was some shit that Shannon just did on his own, why like the suits would be pissed. You know, I can kind of
Oh,
see
for
see both sides of it.
absolutely. So, but hey, I mean, we're here for it though.
Hmm.
I mean, it was an electric
Absolutely.
20 seconds of television,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
amazing.
So, and now who knows, maybe the consequences of that is that you got 31 teams calling about Julio Jones,
Yeah, it's true,
But kind of switching gears here. 30 out of 32 NFL teams allowing full capacity at stadiums, baby.
dude. Love it. I am
We're
pumped.
back.
We are. That is a
Yeah.
great sign. That's like a cool sign just for everyone. You know, I'm not obviously this is not like a show like a COVID show or any political show, but just
Yes.
broadly speaking, like it's I think that's a great sign for everyone because the NFL is so like deeply entrenched in like American culture and like the American identity and like
Oh, for
you
sure.
know to have that stadiums full from the jump, I mean, is incredible. Like
Yes.
that's a moment that probably a lot of people have been looking forward to. Like none of us thought that was going to happen last year, realistically. Like, but I
Yeah.
think everybody's kind of been looking on their calendar, similar to like I've been looking at like I think New Year's Eve this year probably be the most lit New Year's Eve of all time, right?
Oh,
So
for
it's like
sure.
I think similarly, everybody started to think like that 2021 time frame. We start to feel
Yeah.
back to normal. And dude, can you imagine the electricity that will be in the air that noon like kickoff on that first Sunday when it's like
Oh.
we all the state not just the Thursday night game, like when it's like 8 games all kick off at once and the stadiums are full.
Yeah.
Fantasy football, you can have a big old party with everyone again, like all that shit, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Bro. Bro, when you just said that filled my body with so much fucking joy and happiness
Yeah, man.
just thinking about that. Bro, that is gonna be so electric.
I can't wait.
The electricity, the energy, the vibe, and that's not just going to be in stadiums. That's going to be in every city
Yep.
when those games are going on. This year is going to be. It's just going to be like, it's going to be on steroids. It's going to be just you have everyone cooped up.
Yep.
Like I've been to the bar. Since I got double V'd
Oh
up,
yeah.
I've been going out to the bar. I safety first, but like I've been going probably a little more than I should be going. But it's because I'm excited to be out and
Yeah,
see people.
yeah,
I
man.
go to the new local bar down the street,
Yep.
and they're like, "Do you go to any other bars?" I'm like, "No, this one's in walking distance. It's perfect, and plus I've been caged like a tiger.
Yep. Yep.
And so like now you gotta let me out. I'm gonna do my thing."
That's what it is. And now
And
take maybe 50,000 people with that same attitude,
for
place them
sure,
inside a Soldier Field, a Lambeau Field, you know, a Foxborough. Place them in that
yep,
environment. Get the Bills Mafia all
yeah,
together again. Put them in that parking
oh
lot
yeah,
with
yep,
that same energy that you're talking about, and
yeah.
let's see what a time we have. If you were ever going to buy tickets ever to an NFL game, this is the season.
Oh,
I
for sure.
understand they can be expensive, and I'm sure there's probably some ticket websites that would love for us to
Plug
be
them
able to
in
point directly
right
directly to them
there.
right now. But regardless, like seriously, if you were ever thinking of going to a game, like this is the year, man. Like it is going to be so much fun. The new Raiders stadium's opening. Like pick a stadium, man. It's going to be a blast. Like I just can't
For
wait. So
sure.
that's great news.
It,
30 of the teams, and I bet you the other two will come around by the time we get there. Honestly, so that's pretty
and the
awesome.
and the exciting thing for us over here on Monday Evening Football is some of the stuffs that we have in the works that we'll actually be able to get out and meet with some of
Oh,
these
no doubt,
fans,
no doubt.
um, which is for us is going to be awesome. We want to get inside like the mindset of every team that we go visit and
Yep,
things like that of the fans and just understand like oh like you guys fan like this is how Bills Mafia fans,
yep,
this is how the Philadelphia Eagles fans like that's how they fan, like because
yep.
you hear about like different places, like I mean Bears would be one, like they have a unique style of fanning,
Right.
so I'm excited to see these other teams and really just get entrenched in the culture of it. So
Yeah, yeah,
those are
no
some
doubt.
things. I give you a little teaser there for the people at home about some things that are coming up for this actual season here on Monday Evening Football. But yeah, it's definitely exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but kind of switching over to other news that's maybe a little less exciting.
Uh-huh.
For you probably definitely. um, Tom Brady just spent his whole Wednesday afternoon just memeing,
Ugh.
memeing, just putting together memes, thinking he's the funniest guy on the internet. And you know what, Nick? I do have to say, some of them were pretty damn good. And that's tough to say as a Packer fan. They were pretty damn good. They pissed me off a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I got to throw some respect towards Tom Brady there. You may feel a little different, however,
It's
but
it's so the memes are related to the golf match that got announced. So similarly to the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady golf match that was played last year,
yeah,
now it's Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers who will be participating with who is it? Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau, right? That's
yes, yes,
the deal. I believe Tom is paired up with Phil, and then Aaron and Bryson. If that's I
yep,
think that's correct. But anyway,
yes.
yeah, for me, man, I'm yeah, I think if you're familiar with the show, you know how I feel about Tom Brady. We don't have to go down that path right now, but that guy is uh is not one of my favorite humans. So with that being said, Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite humans, and because of that, I am incredibly excited for this. Now, I don't disagree with you. Brady was sharp on it. Now, do I think he's making that meme himself? No, I don't think he's sitting down. I don't think he's sitting down on Photoshop
No,
and chopping up that meme. He's probably got a team of people because
well,
him and
you
his
know it.
wife are fucking good zillionaires. They probably got a team of people. They send him memes. They're like, "Hey, which one do you want to use to fry Aaron Rodgers?" I don't like
Yep.
that. I don't like that. I like to think, that Aaron Rodgers probably thought, you know what? Let me take a little time. Let me think of something here that we can maybe go with. Maybe let's be thoughtful about it. That's why his came out later in the
It,
day, right? He was trying to be a little more
yeah, because
thoughtful.
he was working on it
He was trying to
himself.
be a little more thoughtful. And with that being said, while I will not give Tom Brady any credit, and I will also not show his meme on air, I will, however, show you the meme that Aaron Rodgers sent back at him. So this is the
Let's get it.
clapback video that Aaron Rodgers posted. So here we go. Oh yeah, he's big sad there. Look at him. Oh, and just like that, they whooped his ass. That's how it is. Then that's
Yep.
maybe what we're gonna see, on July 6th. I believe July 6th.
Yep.
That is what we're gonna see. So, yeah, man. Honestly, I am incredibly excited about it. All my feelings towards Tom Brady aside, that is gonna be pretty awesome. And
For
I
sure.
think the two of them, in fairness, the two of them definitely seem to know how to sell it. Obviously,
Yes.
all joking
Yeah.
aside. So I think the next month will be kind of fun with that because I think those guys like are friends, and they know each other and stuff. So they'll probably kind of
Yeah.
keep the content rolling, and that's
For
pretty cool.
sure.
So I'm excited to see that. I think Phil's a little bit chirpy too. Obviously, Bryson
Yeah.
DeChambeau we know is got a little bit of so it's like it's gonna be kind of cool.
I I
You got a lot of
I did
competitors.
see I did see Phil Mickelson in Brooks Koepka posted. He said, "I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers," because obviously Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau
Right?
hate each
Have a
other. It seems like,
yep.
and so Brooks Brooks tweeted that, and then Phil Mickelson was in. He responded to the tweet. He's like, "I feel like I'm in the middle of something here that
Oh
I
yes.
don't." He said something funny, but yeah. So I think the content that's going to come out of this is going to be great. I
Oh
think Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers and Tom Brady both know how to promote the fuck out of this event.
Yep.
I think it's something that, when they're on the golf course, it's going to be a fun event to watch,
Yep.
with the trash talk and things like that. So it'll be fun. Definitely here for it. I know
Oh, always.
maybe we skip the OTAs and just so we can dominate. And then we get back, I'm
That
okay
might
with
be
that.
if that's what he wants to do at this point, 17 years in the league. That's what he wants to do. Now, what I will do real quick for us is because I am curious how this plays into I'm just looking it up on my phone here. Packers training camp. Like, I'm curious how this time frame is going to play in. Because
Yeah, that is interesting.
I believe the Packers training camp dates. I want to say they start in June. Mandatory mini camp looks like June 15th.
Okay.
So it would be obviously that's kind of in the ballpark.
Yep.
Um, that's yeah. I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing, right? Is if you've got mandatory workouts that are going to be going on like 2 to 3 weeks before this. I'm very curious to see because what that means is by the time we roll around to July 6th, it's like, hey, like,
Yep.
we're going here. Like by the time they're out there,
Yeah.
and you've got remember the Peyton Manning thing. Like the way that event is probably going to work is you're going to have a microphone on Aaron Rodgers for like 3 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
so you're going to have him getting interviewed. You're going to have Tom talking to him. You're going to have like so you would think that potentially everything will be more than resolved and figured out by then.
For sure.
But it's hard to know for sure. But I do think that's interesting, an interesting time frame to look for. And you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe I'm
I
looking
agree.
into it
And
too much, but
well, I think it's fair to look at it like that because, like you said, I do think by then we will know one way or the other where this Rogers saga is going.
yeah, for sure.
And and to me, it's like, well, Tom Brady's doing it. He's still in the NFL as well. So, you know, you, I mean, obviously, with there's no issues with OT and OTAs and things like that people are
Right,
talking about, and so
right.
interesting there. But Devontae Adams and four other Packers receivers also didn't go to OTAs, and probably aren't planning on going to OTAs. And the thing with OTAs is like I was doing some more research on it. I know you had your newsletter about OTAs and what
Uh-huh.
exactly they were, but I was like diving in. I was reading some other players' tweets on Twitter about OTAs, and I came across one, and it was like OTAs is really for like personal improvement,
Okay.
like you
Yep.
getting personally ready and you getting strength and conditioned before the camp, so you have an opportunity to make the team.
Yeah. Yep.
So for guys that are veterans and they know they're going to make the team, like
It's just not a
OTAs, if
huge.
it's a voluntary thing,
Yeah.
it's just not a huge deal that the media makes it out to be. So,
Right.
I mean, I think they'll all be in training camp, no big deal there. But
For sure. And honestly, like
yeah,
that, if anything, if that is any sort of like signal or related to any drama or anything, the only way that's related to it is just that the receivers are basically telling the organization, like, hey, we want our guy. It's not like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yep.
So it is a good
Which as a
thing. Like,
Packers fan, you should be happy
yeah, for
about.
sure. Like if the receivers are trying to send a message, like that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. Like if they're like, hey, we
Yep.
want our guy, let's make this happen. Like yeah, I mean that's cool. Like once again, leverage, right? Like the players, the team, Rodgers, and all them just trying to use that leverage, and yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, and, I think that's perfectly reasonable. They want their guy. Like I can understand that. Like that's it's nothing crazy about
Yeah,
that.
and I don't think in the OTAs these guys are going to be like they're not going to be missed. Like
Right,
it's just the OTAs. They're going to go through it, and then we get to the next section of training camp and the
right.
off season, and they'll be there, and then okay,
Well, and
business as usual.
can you imagine right now what pressure the front office must be feeling? Because, like, if you're, think about it like this, if you were Matt LaFleur,
Sure.
you would be on the phone, like, immediately, with every day. Like, you guys, like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't have my quarterback. I have none of my receivers. Like, figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
get them in the
And
building. Like, I don't have to, like, this is like, you guys got to figure this out. Like, I can't start as the coach. Like, we can't just roll into like June and just be like, well, we have no quarterback or receivers showing up to anything. Like, the pressure coming from the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball has to be
yes.
insane. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
from like the press interviews and stuff with Matt LaFleur that I've seen, like it doesn't seem to me like he's too worried about it because I think he understands what the OTAs are,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but like
No doubt.
also like if we get down this road of OTAs, and get through it, and then you still don't have your receivers or Aaron Rodgers, then it's like, you're lighting a fire under the management's ass to let's get these players in the building,
Yep. Yep.
But I don't think it's going to come to that. Like I said, I think these guys will be missed in OTAs, but when they come back, it's going to be business as usual. But a guy who will be missed, the legend, Adam Vinatieri, calling it quits after 24 years. I shouldn't say calling it quits. Calling it, I'm going to move my life on in a different direction and go conquer life, on off the field. So, hey, man, that dude is, he's hit some fucking kicks over the years.
What a guy.
That is, I don't think anyone ever get close to what he did on the field. But just goes to show like what having a great, fantastic kicker will do for your team.
For sure.
You know how many games that guy is not single-handedly, but like single-handedly won at the end.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think
too many to count.
I think that's why Belichick spoke so well, like so nicely about him yesterday. It's just because like if you think about it, it's like when you look at that team, like it's like, obviously there's all the different components, right? All the players they've had, all the defense. Like you think of all these guys, but I mean, Vinatieri for that Patriots dynasty is as important as anyone else, and I think they all recognize that, and so I mean, I don't know who else you could make an argument for that's better than him all time. He's the GOAT. I mean, he's the best kicker of all time in history. Like, I mean, I don't see any other way. Like, think about it. He played in the Super Bowl on multiple teams. Like, he played in the Super Bowl with the Colts as well. Now, granted, they lost, but like he played with like it's like if I remember correctly, or he might even been hurt that game or something like that. But anyway, the point being, like his career spanned like 2 franchises. He got to play with Tom Brady. He got to play with Peyton Manning. He got to play with Andrew Luck, I believe. Like that is incredible, man. And I think like whatever that guy wants to do, like later in his life, like he's probably going to be very successful at. So
do you think he becomes a guest star on the Pat McAfee show?
I
mean, that's his boy.
I mean, he'll probably be on there like a fair amount, you would hope, like because that is his boy, and like that is kind of, and that's the thing that's kind of cool too, is like I feel like more casual fans are more familiar with Vinatieri because of Pat, because Pat has such a large audience, and then he talks so like highly about him, right? It's like I think that's helped a lot of people to realize like, oh man, like. Yeah, like Vinatieri, like is the real deal, man. Like he's like the Iceman. Like when he walks out on the field, you're like, oh fuck, like he's not gonna miss. Like
exactly. And like, and you hear the stories from Pat talk about Adam Vinatieri, which you just know Adam Vinatieri is a great kicker, you know.
Yep.
But then you hear some of the stories like that Pat has told over the years, and you're like, okay, you get to like peek behind the curtain a little bit, and you're like, okay, like. Oh, this guy's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
You get to know him more as a person and not just the greatest kicker of all time type of thing, which I think is pretty awesome. But I think it'd be an interesting dynamic to have Adam Vinatieri on Pat's show, or maybe they start up a new show called The Kicking Corner. Feel free to take that, Pat.
Good.
Feel free to take that. It's Pat McAfee, Adam Vinatieri.
And they just talk about
kicking balls
special teams.
Like 2 times a week.
That'd be awesome.
They just talk about,
That'd be awesome.
That would be like such an interesting dive into a section of football that they probably could do a great job of, diving down and explaining everything.
No doubt.
That I think the fans would definitely appreciate. So, Pat, if you're listening to this, that somehow this gets on your desk, gets in front of you, feel free to take that idea, the kicking corner.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Run with it. It'd definitely be pretty cool. But did you see what's happening? I think the organization.
With that's
one of their Eugene Chung, who came out and
maybe there was some comments.
Yeah, a little NFL discrimination comments and things like that.
Yeah, man.
It's tough to see stuff like that come out because, it goes back to that organizational culture because that's coming up from the top.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he didn't name names.
Right.
Because you don't necessarily, because the person who did it when he brought it up and this became a news story, they know.
Yeah, right.
Like they know who it
They
is,
know who they
and I'm
are,
sure
right?
the other people. I'm sure the other people in the organization probably know of the situation that happened as well because
Yep.
that stuff gets talked about in the office and in that type of things. So I was glad to see him bring this information to light and just say like, hey, this happened with this organization because you know what, we need to call out the bad juju that comes from excuse me, that comes from these organizations. Let's clean
Yep.
it up. You know,
Yep.
and this is like exactly what Aaron Rodgers is talking about when it comes to philosophy and a organization's culture.
Yep.
It like that. He's not just talking.
Oh, let me see. I think I lost Scott here real quick. Let me bring him back.
I'm
There we
not
go.
here for that.
I lost it.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
here.
I got you. Yeah, all we got is I'm
Okay.
not here for that. That's what we got. So
Yeah.
what
Oh, I'm
yeah,
not here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Like organizations doing this type of shit.
Yep.
Like to be honest, that's fucking. It is fucking bush league,
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm not here for it.
No, for sure.
It's something we are not here
I
for.
think
So let's get it cleaned up.
you got to, right? Because the NFL, you have an
Yep.
instance like this, and I think it points to the fact that the NFL is a mirror of, I think, America as a
Yep.
whole. And you have a league that's a national league, so it's all there. It's all in different pockets of the country. So you have all these different personalities.
Yes.
You're bringing people from different parts of the country. These are large organizations too. Like think about an NFL organization as a whole. Think
Yep.
about all the people that work in that building. You have people of every race, every religion. You've got every gender, every sexual orientation, like in these buildings, similar to America, right? It's a melting pot. A lot of these teams are a melting pot, and unfortunately, it seems like nowadays the culture is of the country. You have a little bit of that, right? Like, and especially
Yep.
nowadays it's been in the you see it more with like Asian Americans being like targeted and stuff like that. And
Yep.
then, you unfortunately the NFL is kind of a mirror of like larger society. And so it sucks to see the NFL not be operating at a or at least you know what, and I shouldn't say the whole NFL because it is just the one organization, but it sucks to see one organization in the NFL not
Yeah.
operating at a higher standard than just the general like bullshit that's going on in like the world today. It's like I can it's like there's going to be idiots out there, but unfortunately you don't want to see it in like an NFL organization because I think most of us think of NFL organizations as like we hold them to like a higher standard. Like you've got these very successful people that own the
For sure.
teams, you've got these brilliant people that coach the teams and work in the front office. You have all these players from like these diverse backgrounds. And so it sucks because like I guess from my standpoint, call me naive, but you just don't expect it, right? In that setting. It isn't
Yep.
some like bullshit like ignorant place in the middle of nowhere.
And
Like it's an NFL franchise in the biggest market. So it's just like
yeah.
it sucks to
And
see.
and here's the thing I want to know. Like, has the NFL have they done an investigation into this, or did they just be like, well, he doesn't want to disclose anything, so we're just not going to let it
Right,
be?
right.
Because like if they haven't, well, shame on you, NFL, because you're going to investigate every situation with the players, but you're not going to investigate situations with upper management and things like
Yep.
this. Like, I don't think, and I don't know if they've investigated it or not, but I'm
Right.
saying it definitely should be investigated because, like, yeah, maybe Eugene Chung doesn't want to come out and say, oh, is this person, is this person, but like as the NFL, like that's your brand, and that's just as detrimental to your brand
Yep.
than a guy doing off the field stuff that is putting him in the best light type of thing.
For sure.
So bit of consistency there with the NFL and Roger Goodell. So hopefully they
For
do
sure.
launch an internal investigation into it just to at least have done it, get the information of who it was, so they have it. So if something like this
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
again, they can take the
Yep.
proper steps to be like, okay, this bullshit ain't happening
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not, yep, you don't end up with like a repeat offender situation and then and then yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I
for
hope
sure.
they get it, hopefully this is the last that we see of that
Yeah.
type of stuff going on, but unfortunately, when you have the NFL, like I said, I think it's a mirror of society, so unfortunately you might get some of this type of stuff from time to
Yes.
time, but I agree with you. We just
Yeah.
gotta good for putting it out there by Eugene Chung and just
Yep.
being like, hey, this is going on here too. We're not
Yeah.
we're not this insular thing that's like avoiding it. Like it's
Yep.
going on here too. And so, yeah, man, hopefully they get it squared away. But,
Yep.
I mean,
And
What can you do?
Yep. And that was with the Giants, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That was within the Giants organization,
Yeah, I believe so.
and like it's well, I'm not gonna say that. The Giants are terrible. They're not very good
Yep.
right now, you know. So it's like that is the
Yep.
your
Yep.
organization
Right.
is gonna help my team.
Yep.
Talking about a team that's not doing very well.
Yep.
Productive that will now you have a headline that's
Yeah, for
associated.
sure.
You know, we are very positive.
Yep. Yep.
Put more of those headlines out there because you're never going to be able to turn your team around if you keep having negative stories around it.
Yep.
I think there is something to that. But maybe Nick, you could talk about like turning teams around and different things like that.
Yeah, I just looked it up by the way. So it did say that he didn't. I do think he worked for the Giants at one point or something like that, but it did say that he didn't want to name the team. So it might. So
Oh, it
that
says the
that
team.
was
Okay.
like that must have been speculation from somewhere. So it
Gotcha.
could, but anyway, that's why. So I did want to. I just wanted to.
Well, I appreciate you getting that
Yeah,
fact
I
check
just
for
wanted
me
to
because we don't want to
double.
be
Yeah,
spreading
yeah.
misinformation out
Fuck the
here.
Giants,
You
and then
know.
it's like, no, they're fine. It's like, but it, at the end of the day, like I think, if you have that stuff, the best example is like you saw it in Washington, right? They had a culture in
Yep.
Washington that was a mess. Obviously, some bombshell news like drops right with them, and they come in. Then they hire a high character guy in Ron Rivera to run that organization, and he is able to turn things around. And I think that's the biggest part. I think it starts with leadership. And I think if you're trying to turn an organization around, you need to start at the top, right? And you need to hire someone that's a very high character person. And that has to be your focus, right? And I'm not saying that people are not, I think there's a lot of high character people in the NFL. What I'm saying is you just have to go out of your way to make that the emphasis, right? Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
high character coaches, but their main skill is they're an offensive guru. Or you might have a coach whose main skill
Yeah.
is he's a motivator, right? Or you might have a coach whose
Yeah.
main talent is he's like a player's coach. He's great with relationships.
Yeah.
But you also have these guys who are just high character. Like that is what they are known for,
Yeah.
right? They have this aspect of them where they are these extremely high character individuals. And so if you're trying to turn an organization around in that way, with like the culture, that's what you have to do. You have to hire the people with high character, people that have experience, right? Like Ron Rivera is that person. So I think this is a situation where
Yep.
if you're an owner and you're like, yeah, like I'm realizing now, like this situation is brought to light, like I might have the wrong people in certain areas. That's what you got to look for, right? You got to look for the people that are
Yeah.
going to be like they're courageous in a sense where they are going to be out there leading, and they're not going to care. They're not going along to get along. Like they
For sure.
understand the type of program that they want to run, and they are
Yep.
going to make that happen. And those type of teams have success.
And they'll
So
call out the bullshit.
exactly.
For
And
sure.
this is a situation where, if your team were to be if your favorite team is one of these teams that has an issue like that, I mean, you can only look at, yeah, I mean, you can only blame the people that hired those people at the end of the day, So it's like,
Yeah.
you got to hire the right people. You got to hire high character people in all the roles across the board, and
Yep.
that's it at the end of the day, I think. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully it can turn around. I'm glad Eugene Chung brought it to the attention of people, and that's good on him for doing that. So hopefully it gets fixed, but not guaranteed that it's the Giants. So Giants fans, don't fucking crucify us. We're not, you know, fucking. It could
Or
be though.
do I really don't give a fuck.
It could be
No, I'm
you
kidding.
guys. It could be you
It could.
guys.
Yeah,
But
that was the only
we don't.
team named
It
in the
could be.
article that we read. So
I mean, it could.
I mean,
it could
we
be,
didn't
but
write the
we
article.
don't
We're
know.
just
We don't know.
reporting on. We're just reacting to what we saw on there,
Yes.
and our
Yes.
reaction. Maybe we didn't do enough due diligence from the jump, but
We're learning.
we thought it was the Giants, and it very well could be. We got a 1 in 32 shot there, and it's possible.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
What kind of I mean, interesting to see. What am I talking about? No, but it'll be interesting to see what happens like with these organizations. I am very curious to know which organization it is,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
also I do understand like not wanting to disclose that. But
For sure.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. But other than that, guys, I think make sure you guys are subscribing to that newsletter that we send out every day. That is a free newsletter now that you can
Yep.
get daily. That Nick puts together. He does a fucking fantastic job with it.
Thank you. Thank
He
you.
fucking does the research. He puts in. He's talking about concepts that you guys aren't even thinking about. And here's the thing I will say, Nick, and I'm gonna toot your horn a little bit
Okay.
for you. This guy's analytical brain, he's analyzing home field advantage. He's talking about different ways that teams can go from worst to first. It's
We
just like
are.
these are things that you may not think about right away, but it is gonna make during the season. If you're in a fantasy football league or something, it's not just looking at the player stats or anything like that. It's not just looking at that, but it's looking at everything, home field advantage, different topics every day. We're trying to bring so you guys can see it from a little different angle and be like, oh, actually, with this, this season, with an 18 game season, 17 game season, 18 week,
17. Yep.
um, you know, one team's gonna, there's teams that are gonna get a little extra advantage for home field, and there's some teams that aren't. I don't know how much that will weigh into your fantasy football, but for me, I'm like, that's something I'm taking a second look at now that it
Yeah,
was
for
put
sure.
on my radar by this dude. So definitely subscribe to that. It's good. We send that out daily. It's awesome. Nick, do you have anything else for the people at home today?
No, I think I think thanks, man. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, man. Check it out. It's free, like Scott said. So I think that's we got some news in there. We got a little like kind of op-ed, like he's talking about, that I write every
Yeah.
day, and it's a good way to kind of just especially like if you're a person that maybe on like you're in the morning or on your lunch break or something, you just want to kind of know what's going on in the NFL. You don't want to have to sift through like the bullshit. You don't have to scroll through Twitter and try to find all the news stories. Like it's a great way. It just comes right into your email inbox, and there you go. So check it out. We always throw the link down like in the videos and stuff. But yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Very kind words of you there. But yeah, it's a good what's today? Thursday? Good little thirsty Thursday. Hope you guys have a good one. It's
Ooh, Thirsty Thursday. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Aaron Rodgers watch
Aaron,
2021.
Aaron Rodgers watch.